Awesome morning, wonderful afternoon, and magnificent evening. This is Carla from MindPlore with Carla and Friends. And today we are here to talk about the magic of words, that depending on the words we're using, we will manifest that, bring that into our lives. So if we are not kind to ourselves and we tell ourselves mean words, those words will become what become our reality. If we're kind to ourselves, that kindness will become a reality. And it's very true. This happens all throughout the world. It depends what we tell ourselves, what becomes our reality. I am really lucky to have some people here. Pastor Billy, your mic needs to be on, not off. Please turn it on. I've told you that several times today. I have Pastor Billy here, who is originally from Philadelphia, but I think he's in. Guys, can you hear me? It looks like I'm not here.
Yes, we can hear you. Yes.
Okay.
Hear you.
Because my internet is very unstable right now. So I'll need you guys to help me out, because I may not be here the whole time, depending on the internet.
We'll let you know.
I have Pastor Billy, I have Victor Irving Jenkins here, Asma Tariq, and Shivali to help us get through, talk about words and the magic of the words we use. I'd like to throw this over to Asma and have her discuss how she sees this title and how she sees her words. Asma, the mic is yours.
Right, thank you. It's great. It's lovely to see you.
You're welcome.
Again. Yeah, as the topic is choose your words wisely. And yes, words really matters because it's the words. If I always share this quote and I really love that. So I really want to repeat that. Like, if you want to change your condition, for that you have to change the environment which is in your surrounding. And now how you can change that environment? For that you have to create a new situation. And there's a simple way to change your circumstances is to change the words. If you are going to add the new words in your life, then your environment can get changed. So words have that much power that the addition of new words are so powerful that they can change the environment in your surroundings. So now if we see that words are that much important, so then it's very important to choose the words wisely and to choose the right words. Right, there's the one word I usually say, I will trying. I'm trying, and Carla always said, no, don't say I'm trying, say I'm doing it. So there's a difference. Both are words, but there's a difference of saying, and there's a difference because when you're saying I'm trying, there is some kind of you can ignore this stuff. You are not that ambitious there. But when you say I'm doing it, then these words are actually they are in action. So this is a little much difference. And when we just follow, and when intentionally when we use words, they certainly can change the environment. They can certainly change the conditions because if even when you talk with your friends, when you're with family, the way you talk, and the ones, honestly, the people who are very good in communication skills, they are actually, they are super heroes of our lives, because they, and what they do, they honestly do, they know how to use the words, how to use the right words. So this is what I just want to say, and then I want to give the mic to the other guest. Like, whatever you speak, just focus. Like, what are you going to say? That's it.
Thank you. I think we are, I don't know if it's me, but it looks like all of you are frozen, and that could be my internet. Pastor Billy, are you there?
I am. I am not frozen.
Pastor Billy.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here. I'm not frozen.
Good.
I'm not frozen, although it is one of my favorite movies.
How do you see words and the user?
Yeah, words are awesome. That's how we as human beings communicate. And words, we have to be very, I'll use the word surgical, okay? We have to be surgical in our communications. Every word, every conversation, every sentence, every paragraph, it has to be intentional and purposeful. And it's all the more important when we're communicating with people who, I mean, and I say this as a English language speaker, but those who speak English as a second language, we have to be very purposeful, very insightful, very intentional, and also very caring. You know, as I go to about 18 different countries, many of the countries I go to, even a place like East Pakat, which is, it's not a country, but it's a tribe of 100,000. It's about 12 hours north of Nairobi. And the people there are trilingual. They know their tribal language, they know Swahili, and they're learning English. But we as Americans, I mean, we're so full of ourselves and so prideful that we only know one language, English, and we're very reticent to learn other languages. And so, but going back to my thought and building on what Asma said, words have to be intentional. Words have to be purposeful. Words have to be caring and loving. And I heard a great message in church on Sunday from a long-term African-American colleague, and his whole message was on speaking kindly, K-I-N-D, be kind, be kind. And so, you know, the good book says, one of the teachings of Jesus is that we either have, our mouth is like a fountain, and we either give out sweet water, hello, or we give out poisonous water. So we have to be very surgical in using the words that we use. And I'll conclude by saying, so today is my 42nd wedding anniversary. And if I say 3 words to my bride of 42 years, if I say, I love you, but that's not the way to say it, right? So it's not only the type of words we use, but it's how we say those words. But if I say, I love you, that is a whole different meaning, doesn't it? Now, before we all start crying, I'll turn it back over to Victor or Shivali.
Well, I was going to get to Shivali, and I really think my internet is very unstable. So I need you guys to talk, because I don't even hear you clearly. Shivali, what do you want to say about words?
Yes, I want to add on to what Asma and Reverend Pastor has said just now. Like Asma, when she was speaking about whatever we are saying, you know, it should have a tinge of positive affirmation. Actually, I was thinking of affirmations. What is it that you wish to manifest? Like even Reverend pointed out to the fact about, you know, the intention. what is your intention when you are using words, right? What is it that you wish to manifest? So the intention has to be coming from the subconscious mind, actually. So whatever you wish to manifest, whatever you want, surely everyone wants everything positive. And we all know this, that everything has an energy. Everything that we say has a certain frequency. So words have a certain frequency. Using them with the correct intention helps to manifest that which we desire. So one needs to be very careful. And this also reminded me of Louise Hay, who has written this book on You Can Heal Your Life and You Can Heal Your Body, where she tells us about the significance of affirmations, that how affirmations can actually help you to manifest that which you want, which is healthy, which is good, which is beneficial. So at this point, this is what I wanted to say.
Okay, Victor. I'm not hearing any of you clearly, unfortunately.
While we have largely been focusing on the words that we say, I think it's important to interject that words also have a power that we haven't spoken of, and that's the words that we hear. The words that we hear are more powerful than the words that we say. When people use their words to communicate to us, they have a certain purpose in mind. But also, when we hear words, we have a certain purpose in mind. If we see ourselves a certain way, if we believe certain things about ourselves and our world, then we are going to use, or rather our mind is going to use the words that we hear as an opportunity to validate that. Some people describe phenomena as such as triggers. If you have an attitude that you are a winner, if you have an attitude that things work out for you, if you believe in extracting the good from every situation, then the words that you hear, you're going to treat them the same way. Certainly, the word that you say to yourself is important. I don't believe that they are important because you say them to yourself. I believe that they are important because you hear them. You hear words from you, you hear words from others. When the Bible says death and life are in the power of the tongue, it's not talking about how good chocolate tastes. It's talking about how that mind that you have, how they organize the words that you hear and the words that you say. I take a special interest in crafting my mind and situating my mind so that the words I hear, like for instance, someone will characterize an incident or characterize you a certain way, and if it doesn't serve me, if it doesn't make me feel good, if it doesn't make me smile, then I discount those words. And that's part of the power that we have with words. So, yes, words are important. Words are powerful when we say them, but I think they're even more powerful when we decide to hear them a certain way.
So, Victor, can I ask you something over here? That means we have a choice. We have a choice. When we are hearing things, we have a choice as to how we are receiving it. This is what you are trying to say? Yeah.
Exactly. And it is a choice that, in my never to be humble opinion, that's not used often enough. People in our lives, they're not really trying to hurt our feelings or trying to bring separation between us, or what's the point of saying something to someone, having someone in your life regularly and saying things that causes them pain? That doesn't make any sense. That makes even less sense than me hearing it and translating it and filtering it to make it cause me pain. Human beings have a desire to contribute. Human beings have a desire to give, a desire to connect with other human beings. And few of us are going to use our words to separate ourselves. Few of us are going to use our words in a way that we're repelling people. It's just my belief, and because of that belief, I seldom get my feelings hurt because I don't believe anyone is trying to hurt my feelings. I think they're just trying to express themselves. And if every now and then my feelings get hurt, that's my problem, not theirs.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's a wonderful insight there. And oftentimes, I know I have to use what I call filters, right? And I'm sure Asma and Shivali, Victor, we need to build filters into our lives because a great quote, and I hope that all of our viewers can memorize this. It's not what comes into our lives that will affect us, but it's how we respond to those things. And that's either circumstances like, okay, I got a bad call from the doctor and I have, stage 4 cancer or whatever. It may not be health, but it may be some bad news. But it's not only circumstances, but it's also words. So we need to have filters that when words from individuals come into our lives, that how are we going to respond? So it's not the words that we're receiving. And Victor, Shivali, you were just talking about this. And the other word that has come to my mind today is affirmation. So we not only have to affirm other people, but the words that come into our heart and in our mind, our soul, our spirit, our conscience, we have to affirm those and say, as you just said, Victor, well, why is this person saying this? Are they intentionally trying to hurt me? And probably not. They're just speaking out of their own, if I could use the term, emptiness, right? People speak out of their emptiness all the time. And so they're not going to use affirming words of affirmation, loving words, kind words, gracious words. And I always want to be in that position. I'm not, but it's something I've got to work on with every conversation I have, even the one today, right? We have to work on what we're saying even today on this session of MindPlore with Carla. So, Asma, your thoughts?
I can't see her, but it may be my internet. Can you see Asma?
Yeah, we can see Asma. Can you hear us,
Yeah.
Asma? Yeah.
Yeah.
She is.
I can hear. Can you hear me?
We can, yes.
We can hear you.
Your thoughts, Asma.
All right. Yeah, as all of us, we said that the importance of words and how powerful they are actually, like whatever the word we speak, they actually make the same kind of actually power we are receiving. So this is what, but I believe that for that we need we need the awareness you to use, because somehow we are living the environment where we learn the stuff intentionally or unintentionally from our environment. So most of the people don't have the awareness that how to use the proper words. What is the importance of using the right words? Why they are important? Because we say it's just the way to speak. It's just the way to communicate with others. But we don't know that it's not only the way to communicate with others, it's also reflecting the power. Like we all have the names. And I think in all the communities and in all the cultures, it's very important. The name of a person, like when a kid born, we actually ponder a lot to decide a name. because we believe somehow whatever the name we are giving to the person, it's actually creating a great impact in his and her life, because we are going to call that name more than right throughout his and her life. And when we call that name, the power of that word is actually the person is actually receiving that power from the name. This is just one example, and I think all in all culture this is a belief. This is a belief in my community too. They believe that the name. Similarly, when we think about the name, all the other words and all the words that we use to communicate, they have the same kind of power. And I think it's a very good way. At first I talk about most of the time the people don't have the awareness and they don't know. So here through this, we can raise the awareness and we can send that message to all the communities and to all the people who are watching us, and can share this that how important it is and how they can use the right words. So I would also want some suggestions from Victor and Devlin from you, how people can use and how we can use the right words.
Yeah, go ahead, Victor.
The right words.
What do you mean by the right words? Wait a minute, Victor. She needs to define it. Right words could mean anything, Asma. What do you mean when you say right words?
Right words mean we have different kind of stuff, and certainly we choose the one which are beneficial and which are good for us. So for me, right means just that, which are powerful and which can give us a great impact. As I just give one example, so trying and doing, these are two stuff. Trying is also a right word, but for me right is like I'm doing it. For me that is right. So I definition can be changed. I just want to get how we can use the word wisely. I think that would be a better word.
It seems as though you're talking about the appropriate word. Is that what you're trying to communicate?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, let's take a simple example. If you feel positively that someone else is in the world, if you like the person very much, right? I tend to use the word love to describe how I feel about most human beings. Well, there are several kinds of love, and if someone has a particular point of view and I tell them I love them, they may not receive it the way that I am sending it. And as I said a moment ago, how you hear something and what you believe about something is much more important than what you even say. So when I say to someone, I love you, perhaps it would be more accurate to say, I value you and I think that you have a right to be alive. Because that's what I mean when I say I love you, right? So in terms of speaking the appropriate word or speaking the right word, I think the first place where you have to go is you have to know within yourself what you actually mean. What thought are you harboring when you say that word? Because from the time I was a child, they told me in school that a sentence was a group of words that expresses a complete thought. So once you know what the thought is that you want to communicate, then you go into your bag or into your toolbox and pick out the word that you use to mean that particular thing, and hope and pray that the person that you're communicating with uses that word the same way that you do.
Yeah, and I would add all of these items that we're talking about are, and I'm sure everybody has pretty much heard this phrase before, but all these things we're talking about today are what we would call teachable moments, teachable moments. I always looked when our children were small, when they were little, and learning how to operate in relationships and here on planet Earth, I would always look for teachable moments. So I think we need to be bold, we need to be strong, and we need to say to people that maybe they're not using the right words, or maybe the words are not being said in the right way. Those are teachable moments that we can gently, kindly, lovingly, instead of engaging in argumentation, that we can go to people and say, is that really what you meant to say? And that's a great phrase that I like to use. Is that really what you meant to say? It's non-judgmental. You're not getting up in the person's face, but is that really what you meant to say? Or I always like to put myself in what I call and this is a little radical out there, Asma, Shivali, Victor, and Carla, but I like to put myself in a place of weakness, when someone is perhaps criticizing me or coming after me. I'm just going to use the two great words in the English language, thank you, or the one great word in Arabic, shukran, or in Urdu or Hindi, shukriya. So when someone's coming after me, I'm just going to put myself in a place of weakness. Or not only will I say, hey, is that something you meant to say? Or you could say something to the effect of, I'm really confused. Is there another way that you could say that? And so when I put myself in a place of weakness, which we would say is, to use one word, it's humility. When we place ourselves in humility, then that really surprises people, right? And so I'll hand it back over to Shivali or Asma to respond. I will say again, going from the Injil or the Gospels, Jesus had a great teaching. He talks about how the meek are blessed, and I'm looking up I think it says the meek, blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. So meekness, humility, putting yourself in a place of weakness, that's really a good place to be when you're trying to respond to someone. In the Injil, in the book of Matthew, blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. So meekness is a great quality to have, isn't it? Back to you.
Yes, I agree with this. Like, no response is also a response, Reverend. Like,
Yes.
that's also a response, because when you say, okay, thank you for it, you're not really focusing on what that person is saying. You just don't respond to it, and it's okay, because the moment you respond, it's like the battle may continue, or the situation may be something different. So best are those people, I feel, who just gently move away from the situation by being silent or saying, okay, thank you so much. Even when someone is disagreeing, you say, okay, it's fine. We just accept it. So that is also a response. That is again a choice that we are making. So I agree with this. Yes.
Yes. Anyone else want to dive in on that?
Yeah. I just want to share one quote, and I think I just love that. The quote is, words are free. It depends on you how you use them, and that actually costs. So yes, as we are from different countries, from different communities, and we use different words, even for, as Amelia is speaking about thank you, we use shukriya, we use jazakallah. These are different words, and the meanings are same. The meanings are same, that you are grateful for something, but we have different. Yes, I think they all can see me. So we
Yes.
are, but we use different words, and how we use that words, that matters, and that actually depends. And yes, then use the word, use with right like positivity. And if you're using this sometime, as Shivali said, no response is also a response. And sometimes I you, without any response, with your with signals, you are giving the message, you forward the message. So most important thing is message, even to your own self and to the others. When you sometimes when you talk with your own self, you send some message to yourself, that we need to focus on that message. That message is important. And for that, what kind of words and what words you want to use, that then that matters. And then certainly you want to convey your message to the other person, that matters. And for that, you use the words. You can also send that message through symbols, through actions, through by using by your body language. You can also send that message to the other person. So certainly there, the important thing is message. The important thing is communication with the other people, with your own self. And that communication should be productive, should be like that, positive, because whatever we are doing, we want our response. Whatever we are doing, we want something, some impact. We humans are always focused on the impact, like what impact, what are we actually getting from, what are we actually getting from. So when we are focused on what are we actually getting from, for that certainly the reactants are the words. They need to be very for that we have to be focused on. And yes, you can use different words, but the only thing here I want, be open. Be open for the words. Even keep your mind open for the words, for the for all kind of like communications. But yes, the way you communicate and the message you want to communicate to the other person, to your own self, that's important. And focus on that and stay happy.
Yeah, I have a question for Asma and Shivali. How have you, since I'm assuming, I hope correctly, that English is your second language, it's not your birth language, how have you found English speakers to, when you're dialoguing and talking with them, Shivali? I mean, are they patient? Are they kind? Or are they just trying to get thoughts over to you?
You mean to say when I'm interacting native speakers, like people who originally speak? See, Reverend, in my case, what happened, my entire education was where English was my first language. Yes, my mother tongue is not English, but in my school, right from the time I went to the nursery, I studied in a Catholic school and a Catholic college. So I was always exposed to, English as the first language. Yes, in my interactions, sometimes, say if Carla is speaking to me or someone else, sometimes there are certain nuances which are very typically American. So I'm used to it, or maybe I have read so many books, I've been exposed to a lot of European literature, etc. So I can easily relate to it. But yes, there are moments when I have to kind of really slow down and try to understand what the other person is trying to say. Yes, it happens. It does happen.
Those pesky little nuances. Nuance is the one word in English that impacts every other word. I tell you, nuance, man. Those words would be fine if it wasn't for those darn nuances. By the way, Pastor Billy, we can hear you fine, but when you put your microphone to your mouth closer, it gets a little distorted. Now, in order
Okay, thank
to
you.
get the best out of our use of words, there's a book that I've come across called The Four Agreements. Now, I don't know if you've heard of the book, but it's called The Four Agreements. And I'm just going to talk about one agreement because it's such a phenomenal book. It's a book that you read more than once. And one of the four agreements, and these are agreements that you make with yourself to enhance your life. It says, be impeccable with your word. Be impeccable with your word. Now, certainly, when we are speaking words, we want to be very specific in what we're saying. We want to choose the right word. But back to this little pesky thing called nuances. Being impeccable with your word, in my view, is you never say anything, you never utter anything that you don't want to be true. For instance, I'm so stupid. No, you never say that. Oh, I'm so unattractive. No, you never say that. Man, you're killing me. No, you never say that. Use your words and be impeccable with your words. I just don't have any money. No, you never say that. So this, if you can embrace this one agreement, and certainly I could go on and on about the other three agreements as well because they impact your life in a big way, but being impeccable with your word is a big deal. And as you think of what I just said, panel members, consider some of the ways that you are impeccable with your words and share some ideas about how you are how you are careful to not saying anything that you don't want to be true.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody all at once?
Well, here I can relate
Actually,
to some.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
Go
we
ahead.
see everything.
Yeah.
We see you chilling in the background, like so.
you know what, Victor? I wrote it in the chat for a reason, and I expected you to answer that in the chat. Thank you. Pastor Billy, you were about to say something.
Yeah, I love what Shivali
I
just
can't
said.
hear you guys.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
not doing.
okay. Well, I think everyone else can hear me, right? And Victor told me not to bring my mic to my mouth, so I will
Yeah.
keep my mouth away from my mic. I heard what Shivali said, and again, to reinforce, words are so important that I always teach myself, and when there are teachable moments, I teach others. But every conversation, every word needs to be meaningful, it needs to be intentional, it needs to be purposeful. And so that's really why I wanted to come on today, to just share about this, because words have, and Victor, you said it earlier, words have the power, and this is going to be a powerful statement. Words have the power to give life, or words have the power to give death. So life or death in our words, and in every relationship, in every conversation, we need to think: am I giving life, or am I giving death? And there's another great verse from the teachings of Jesus that talk about that the anger of man or woman, the anger of people, does not produce the righteousness of God. So if we want to be God-like in our speech, if we want to be God-like in our words, in our conversations, then I go back to what I said earlier, 45 minutes ago, that we need to be surgical. It's just like a surgeon, when they open you up, and if they go a millimeter to the left or a millimeter to the right, then they may cut an artery and the patient may bleed to death. So that's how precise and surgical, not in a crazy way, but, and I'm going to use the word trainable. I use this expression TCT. Are we trainable, coachable, and teachable in our own selves? Trainable, coachable, teachable, TCT. And as I've built teams around the world in 18 countries, all the way from Hong Kong to Afghanistan, to Pakistan, to Syria, over to Sudan, Khartoum, Sudan, and Nigeria. I'll be leaving for Cuba this Friday, where I've been going for 15 years. I always look for women and men that are TCT, trainable, coachable, and teachable. And I want that for myself. So we know the adage, we attract who we are, right?
Right.
Victor, I'm sure you've taught on that. Shivali, Asma, I'm sure you've all taught on that many times, that we attract the people that are like us. So if we're curmudgeons, if I could use a great vocabulary word, you know, we've all talked about, we've all met curmudgeons, you know, those grumpy people. So if we are a curmudgeon, then we're going to attract curmudgeons. But I want to remain in my own spirit, in my own self, in my own being, in my own consciousness, in my own walk with Jesus. I want to be teachable. I want to be coachable. I want to be trainable. TCT. So that's my comment, and I'm going to be sticking to it.
Amazing. And I have 3 other gates, but I love the gates that Pastor Bill that you shared. And next time I'm going to focus on that. Yes, I just want to answer the first thing that you said about the English speakers. This depends. Honestly, I didn't follow. I found them very cool. Most of my experience is very cool but yes, depends. In case of comedians, I have a different experience. With the podcast, I have a different experience. So with teachers, which I have a different experience. So I think language doesn't matter. It depends on person, how they use the words and how they want to communicate. This is my experience that I feel that even what is my language, somehow people use it harshly when they speak harshly. You feel the language is very harsh. Actually, language is not harsh. There are few people who speak the way that makes the language harsh. Yes, and another thing that I want to say is that the words are that much important. Like we can have an experience. If you look into the if you look into the history of the successful people, and even if you want to try that experience in your own home, you can try that. Speak with your friends, with your family member harshly, use the negative words. Honestly, even after 1 hour, your home atmosphere is just like a hell. You don't want to be stay there. But on the other hand, speak the better words, speak nicely, communicate well, you find the difference. That atmosphere will change into a peaceful environment, and you're gonna love to stay there. It's because there are few people whom we just want to say hello, hi, and we just want to end the conversation. On the other side, there are few people with whom we can communicate for hours, and time doesn't matter there, because there's a difference how you are communicating, how you are actually how you're responding, what kind of words and what kind of connection you're feeling from the other side. So there are, as Pastor Billy shared, the 3 gates. Similarly, I have 3 gates, and there's are like whatever you are saying. For that, you have to think: is it necessary? Is it kind? And is it true? As Victor said, is it true? So similarly, when you say to yourself, even when you're communicating with your own self, you are stupid, you didn't did great today. So then you would say, is it true? Might be true, because you did something stupid today. Might be, can be true. But is it necessary? Might be it is necessary. But is it kind? No, it is not kind. It is not kind. So as the 3rd gate said, it is not kind. So yes. So when you apply that filters while communicating to your own self, while communicating with the others, there are lots of things get settled and you get a very positive response. So yes, these are my gates. Is it necessary? Is it true? And is it kind? Any
Sweet.
other thing, just last, sorry, is it understandable? So right now I'm focusing on that. Is it understandable for the other person? Because somehow that also matters.
Wow. Wow. I'm going to add necessary, kind, true, and understanding. I love it. Necessary, understanding, and true. That would be NUT, which spells nut. So are we are we nuts about our communication? But I think we need to be, right? I mean, that's how the world goes round. Yeah. You know, when I do marriage counseling, when I'm talking with couples who are struggling in their marriage, a husband and a wife, I always say to them that your conversation needs to, your marriage, not just your conversation, but your marriage. And this goes, Asma, to what you were saying, necessary, kind, true, understandable. Is your marriage a symphony? Everybody likes a symphony, right? We like to hear just good music, whether you're a classical person or maybe you like, I don't know, Bollywood music or something like that, and or Nollywood, that's from Nigeria. And but is our communication, is it a symphony? Because if it's not, then I always talk about, have you ever thrown a metal trash can down a flight of concrete steps? And a lot of times our communication is like that. And, you know, back in the day in America, everybody had a big old aluminum trash can. Now they're made out of plastic. But Victor, you remember those. Carla, you remember those. And everybody had a metal trash can. And man, when those things, if you were carrying them down a set of steps and it fell out of your hands, it was the worst sound ever. And as kids, we used to take the lids of those trash cans and use them as cymbals. I don't know if you ever did that, Victor, but you know, we would have a makeshift impromptu improv marching band down the streets using the garbage can lids as cymbals. I know Shivali and Asma are looking at me like I'm crazy. But, you know, it didn't make good music. It just made a lot of noise, right? It's like New Year's here in America, at midnight, people set off fireworks, but they'll take a cooking pot, a metal cooking pot with a metal spoon, and they'll go out and they'll bang on the pot. It makes absolutely no music. In fact, it's very aggravating. But so I think our communication should be a symphony, not a metal trash can going down a set of concrete steps.
Now that's hip hop. That's hip hop.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Up in here, up in here. You're about to make me lose my mind.
Yeah, that's music, all right, but it's not a symphony. That's hip hop.
I'm sorry, Shivali, go ahead.
You know, it's okay. The symphony word, you know, that he used in this marriage counseling context. Well, it's all about the intention. What is the intention? You want to create noise, you want to create noise, so you will create noise. If you want to create that symphony, you can create it.
That's right.
It's the intention. It's the intention behind everything. What is it that you wish to create? What is it that you wish to manifest or affirm? Again, it's all related to a consciousness and our intention. So that's why I think, most of the energy healers worldwide, they lay a lot of emphasis on the intention, the consciousness, the words that you are, writing, or even the kind of, I think our parents, when they encouraged us to read the right kind of books, or even, kind of attend spiritual discourses, what was the intention behind it? To raise your vibration. The intention was to raise the vibration. And when the vibrations are on the higher level, then obviously all that is positive will only kind of flow through. This is what I feel.
Mm, mm. I love that word intention. Now, Victor, you said something earlier. If I could just ask you about this, I mean, do you think some people are intentionally nasty and mean?
No, no,
Really?
that was my point. And if
Okay.
someone is intentionally being nasty or mean, it's not coming as a result of the person that they're talking to. They are being nasty and mean because of the voices in their own head, and they're responding to what they think that they have to do. And that's where the phrase, the adage comes from, is that people who seem the meanest, they need love the most.
Yes.
Because if someone trying to give you a bad time, it's important to understand that they're having a bad time themselves. And,
Yeah.
and on the flip side, when I meet people that I don't resonate with, or people that seem as though they're giving me a bad time, see, I don't believe that anybody wants to give anybody else a bad time. I think that, like I said, they're responding to their own pain. But if I'm having a bad time from you, or if you seem like you're not resonating with me, in my world, that's an opportunity for me to look further inside, because I believe that the same trouble that I'm having with you, the same this, the same communication that I'm having from you, whatever pain it is that you're causing me, it is my belief that I cause that same pain to other people unknowingly. Because if somebody is causing me pain, again, they're not trying to cause me pain. They're just trying to live their life. They're trying to manage their own feelings. And if I get hurt from it, then the question I want is, why am I allowing this to hurt me? Why am I thinking of this in this way? So the only way that I can reconcile that is to understand, Victor, you are probably doing the same thing to other people, and that's something that you need to look at.
Mm. Wow, that's profound. That is totally profound. Yeah.
Well, I was in pain, and I'd wake up in the morning and I'd wonder why I was still here, and every day I'd be up and down depending on what I was receiving from other people, because I was trying to meet people's needs, trying to make people feel better, trying to stop people from being angry, just going up and down, up and down, up and down, and I started searching for answers and started seeking a lot of things about myself. And the more I learned about me, the more I learned about other people. And the number one thing I learned was that I wasn't perfect. And when I found out I wasn't perfect, well, I mean, that was a kick in the pants right there. You mean I'm not perfect? You mean I'm not doing it how it ought to be? You mean I'm doing something that other people... Wow, I guess I better look at that. So if I'm not perfect, Pastor Billy, chances are that you're not perfect. And I find that the people that have had the most difficulty, the people that have fallen on their face more than other people, I find myself being more, I guess, magnanimous, more accepting of other people's foibles. Because I know I've screwed up a whole bunch of times. So if you seem like you're screwing up to me, the last thing I'm going to do is to criticize you.
That's right. That's right. Well, speaking of not being perfect, I actually, since today is my anniversary, I'll conclude with this and hand it back to Shivali, Asma, and Carla, since they're the brains of the outfit today. And I married a perfect woman. She's only made one mistake.
By the way, those pinstripes rock. I like those pinstripes, man.
Now, I know what you're thinking, but don't Don't,
No, but
Just
I
Jose.
well,
do.
I know what you said. You married the perfect woman. She made one mistake. She married you.
Well, now, why would you say that? All
Yes,
right.
I agree
Okay.
with Victor. The pinstripes. This even they, I found them very striking on him.
Very good. All right.
Okay,
Go ahead, Carla.
okay.
It's your
I
show.
I can barely hear you clearly. The internet here is really poor and slow now. So I couldn't even hear much of the conversation. However, I want to thank you because it does sound, from the bits I heard, you do sound like you had a good conversation. It is time to close, and what I'd like to do is go around and just get maybe one or two sentences of what everyone is taking away from this particular show. And all of you look frozen to me. If you're not frozen, raise your hand and let me know. Okay, Pastor Billy, you're the only one not frozen. Please talk.
All right. Okay. Well, I think
Pastor
it's
Billy, are
yeah,
you
yeah.
there?
I am here, Carla. Sorry you're having trouble there, and we'll pray for your internet. But Shivali just raised her hand, and Victor's live, and Asma is moving. So, Carla, if you want to wrap it up for today, because I think we're a little bit
What
over.
did I just ask, Pastor Billy? What did I just ask for from everyone?
Yeah, to raise their hand, or
No, before that, what did
oh,
I ask? I asked you to say a few words of what you are taking away from the show today. And you're frozen now.
I took away affirmation.
Hello.
I took away affirmation and awareness.
Carla, can you hear me?
What did you learn about affirmation? Can I finish with Pastor Billy first?
Yeah.
I'm sending you a note,
This
and
is
my note
very
said,
hard for me.
Carla, I'm sending you a note, and it says Carla Riechman is not in this meeting.
Yep. I'm getting the same message, Victor, that Carla is not in this meeting. So
Can you hear me?
no.
Yeah.
I
Yes,
can't.
I can hear you.
Let's just
Oh, yeah.
end this.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Pastor Billy, what do you take away from the show today? Very
Affirmation,
quickly.
affirmation and awareness. Affirmation and awareness. Affirmation and awareness. Carla, you're not hearing us.
What did you
Affirmation and awareness.
What did you learn about one quick sentence about affirmation and one quick sentence about awareness?
Well, I need to be more aware of every conversation, and I need to be more affirming of other people when I'm in conversations, and more affirming of myself. There you go.
Thank you. Victor, what did you take from the show today?
It is not commonplace that people understand that when they hear words, they're not at the mercy of the words. They can decide whether or not to believe what they're hearing. And everybody doesn't know that. That's new knowledge.
Okay. Shivali, what did you learn today?
Well, for me, compassion. Compassion is my takeaway. You know, like the awareness that when the other person is speaking, or even when I am speaking, compassion is the key actually in understanding. What Victor rightly pointed out, that when a person is saying certain things to us, how we are going to look at that situation. The choice is in our hand. So compassion is my takeaway.
Thank you. Asma, what did you learn today?
I learned acceptance, and I always focus on that right now. Accept others. Just don't judge.
Okay. And with that, because I didn't hear everything, I think we'll close the show, and hopefully on Thursday I will have better internet and we will be able to have an actual show. I am so sorry for today, but you all look frozen. And if you can, wave goodbye. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, wave goodbye and stay for a moment, please. Bye.